Warm welcome. I am Sharada Devi, and I am your guide and your ceremonialist for the next 36 days. Welcome everyone. Hello Sarah, hello Siri. Please say hello. Where are you joining from? What brought you here? I am very excited to start this challenge, 36 days challenge, which is called Ritualize Your Life. And it is a commitment. Hello, hi. So nice that so many of you are joining. It is a commitment from Mallorca. Yay. A commitment to show up for 36 days. At least from my side, I made that commitment to come here live every day on Instagram for the next 36 days. Oh, so nice to see you here. Hola from Germany. Hello from Sweden. Good talking power. You have more energy. Thank you. So beautiful. From UK. Wow. So wonderful. Yes, talking power. We're going to invoke Saraswati, the goddess of talking and words, and invoking my Agni, my fire, to be really strong, to be able to convey and share with you this first step of our 36 steps. And this commitment that I made, I do it really for myself, because I know how much it has blessed me to ritualize my life. I am 40 years old. Om Teo. So ritualizing my life has blessed me so profoundly. I was initiated to rituals around 15 years ago. Already before 15 years ago, I was introduced to ritual. I was a yogi. I was an Odissi dancer. Odissi dance is an Indian classical dance, originated as a temple dance. And when I came to the temple dance, every dance is really a ritual. And I was already doing ritual, but I didn't have like someone that could really explain to me the meaning behind the ritual and what really happens. And so when I met my Vedanta teacher, my Vedic wisdom teacher, which is almost 15 years ago or longer, he was able to really introduce to me step by step why we do ritual and what is the meaning of each ritual. And he introduced me to puja. Like, there are countless rituals from all kinds of different traditions. I come from the Vedic tradition, and one of the ritual is called puja. We have homa, we have agnihotra, and puja is what I was introduced to at that time, and I was introduced to a 16-step puja. 16 Shodashakala, 16 dedicated to the 16 facets of the human being, the jiva, the 16 facets of the subtle body. And so this 16-step puja changed my life. I made a commitment 15 years ago that I will do this puja every single day for 48 days. So every morning I woke up at 5 a.m. I was living in Bali already at that time. I moved to Bali 16 years ago, and before Bali I was living in India, and before that in Venezuela, and before that in Switzerland. I'm originally from Switzerland. I'm half Philippine, you may wonder, for those that don't know me. So when I came to Bali, the culture also wakes up very, very early. Like Wayan, my dear Balinese mother, she wakes up every morning at 5 a.m. and prepares the offerings for the day. And so I also took on that habit to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. At that time, nowadays I'm not doing that every day. But at that time I did, because I wanted to learn this puja. I wanted to learn how to ritualize my life. I wanted to learn how to make every moment meaningful, how to get out of lethargy, how to get out of dullness, how to get out of this deep sleep where we are like a ghost walking around through life and nothing is really giving me meaning and purpose. And when I saw how these rituals are so beautiful and so meaningful. And I woke up at 5 a.m. I went out in my garden, and in my garden there are lots of flowers. So I went to pick the flowers with reverence, and then I prepared the items like water and incense and candles and food. And then I followed this puja every day, this 16-step puja. And by day 48, I had the puja in my heart. I learned it by heart, even including the Sanskrit mantras that go along with this particular puja. And so from then onward, I continued to do this puja. And at that time, was not a practice anymore. It was just a way of living. Like, so when I started, it was a practice. Like I had to practice doing puja. Like maybe when you started to doing yoga, like it would still feel like, oh, I'm going to practice. But the idea, the whole point of yoga and all the tools of the Vedic tradition is really that the practice leads to a certain end. And the end is what? Is more balance, more harmony, more self-acceptance, among many other benefits. And that eventually these habits, or this practice, turn into a habit, a way of living. And then the idea that, oh, I'm a practitioner, it actually dissolves. I'm just me, living my life, contributing to the well-being of all being. And so the puja also helped me to get out of competition, which I talked a lot about in my recent live from 2 days ago. You can check it out. I talked about how in the Western society, I grew up in Switzerland, and we're living in a... Hello, Sophia. Hello, so nice you're here. We grow up in a competitive society. And competitive society means we compete. Right? I have something that you don't have, you have something that I don't have, and we compete. And when we compete, we also compare ourselves. And when we compare ourselves, we definitely end up in suffering. And where does this competition come from? Originally it comes from the sense that I lack something. I lack something. I am separate being, a different being than you are. You are different from me, I am different from you. And all we can see is what we do not have in common. And so in the Vedic tradition, which India, Bali, is still a living Vedic tradition, the society is not a competitive society. Originally, it is a contributing society. Very big difference. We're here to contribute, to become contributors, and to participate in the ongoing mystery of life. Isn't it a mystery? And nature, animals, they're all participating and they're all giving back. But we humans, we are consumers, and we take and take and take. And we have so much, and still so many of us, we have this greed in us, this sense of poverty, this sense I don't have enough. Terrible. And so when we ritualize our life, which we are going to do, we're getting out of this sense that I lack something, that you lack something, this sense of poverty, and we recognize the infinite abundance that always is, the infinite wealth that always is. Because we get to choose on what we are going to focus. I can focus on all the things I do not have, which we do in a competitive Western society, or I can focus on all the things I do have. Like we do in India or in Bali, where I lived for so many years. Like my Vayan, waking up every day, and the offerings the Balinese people do is to say thank you. Thank you that I was given one more day to live. Like last night when we went to bed, all of us, we didn't know if we're going to wake up this morning, did we? My teacher, he said to me, actually every night, because I lived for 15 years with my teacher, and when we would say goodbye in the evening, we don't say, see you tomorrow. We say, if we wake up tomorrow, we'll see each other. So, and my students, they also get a little bit like, no, don't be so dramatic. But I'm not dramatic when I say that. I completely mean that. Like, if we wake up tomorrow, we will see each other. We will see each other. What a gift. And when we live like that, we take each other much, much less for granted. Because what we do, most of us who do not ritualize their life, we take things for granted. We become complacent. And then we become complainers. And we're complaining about everything. One of the main things people complain is the weather. So to neutralize that, to get out of complaint, to get out of complacency, to get out of taking each other for granted, because like no one wants to be taken for granted. I don't want to be taken for granted. You don't want to be taken for granted. Nobody and nothing wants to be taken for granted. So we focus on what we have in common. That's what is one of the qualities when we live in a contributing society. And like you may think, but I don't live in a contributing society. What am I gonna do about that? Shall I also move to Bali? Well, if you have the opportunity to move to Bali for some time, I think it's a great idea to really live in a contributing society for some time. I really needed that. I needed to like let everything behind me, to really like melt down and be reborn again, and with an attitude of contribution. But if you cannot like move there, you could come visit like for some time, for example, and to just experience that attitude. And then if you cannot also go there for holidays, we are meeting now here every single day. And so you can bring in this attitude into your day-to-day life, into every action, everything you do, and you create your own society. Even if you live in the most competitive society, you are your own world, really. You have the power to create your own world, to create your own society, to create your life, really. And it begins with you, it ends with you. No one can do it for you. No one could do for me what I did. I had to do it myself. I had to make this commitment. And yeah, it was difficult sometimes to wake up so early, and it was sometimes, I don't want to go and get all these flowers, and I'm going to do this puja, and I was still half asleep sometimes. But it blessed me so profoundly, because I got out of this complacency. I got out of this sense that I'm a poor being. I got out of this sense that I don't have enough. I got out of competition, and I became a contributor. And when you're a contributor, there is no more fear, really. Because also we discover how much we have, because we're focusing on all the things we have. We have been given this life again. Today you woke up. You didn't know if you're going to wake up. And you were able to get out of the bed. You didn't know if you would get out of the bed. I have a friend who suddenly wasn't able to walk anymore. I have a friend who woke up one day and couldn't see with one eye anymore. Like, we don't know if all these things are still going to be there tomorrow. Right? So much is given to us. In truth, really, the infinite is given to us. That's what the Vedic tradition says. Like, we're given the infinite. And not only that, it goes even deeper than that. You are the infinite. You are limitless. That is your nature. What? Me, limitless? How is that possible? Like when I say me, I mean you also. When I say you, I also mean me. Because in the Vedic tradition, in the Vedic teachings, so lovely to see all of you joining. Ilona, hello, Helen. There is only one self. There are no two selves. There's only one self. What does that mean? Myself is yourself is myself. There's only one self, one without a second. That's the vision. That is what the Vedic tradition conveys with every breath, in every story. And Why would that be nice to know? Because it eradicates completely all fear and competition. So this teaching is so deep, and ritualizing our life helps us to come to the right attitude, which is to become a contributor. As long as I'm a competitor, I am not fit, like an adhikari, it's called in Sanskrit, an adhikari, to assimilate the vision of oneness, to understand reality. So like, oh, the internet connection is a little bit namaha. I hope it works. Let me know if the internet is so I have another internet connection. So like when we want to climb the Himalaya, you cannot just climb the Himalayas. Like we would die. There has to be a preparation. We've got to prepare ourselves. And so it's in the same way when we want to understand the truths of our existence, we get to prepare ourselves. And so the yoga, the rituals and everything are here to help us become prepared to understand reality. Means that there is only one self. And so that preparation, which includes this attitude of being a contributor, is fundamental, is crucial, is indispensable. It's the key. I am a contributor. How can I support? How can I give back? Not how can I take. Okay, great, thank you, Kate. How can I give back? But most of us, we all live, what can I get? And I don't say all of this in any way to judge any of us. I've done it, I do it. But we're practicing. We're practicing to get out of the attitude, what can I get from you, to how can I give back to you? How can I contribute to you? And that's the number one key also to be able to live in a healthy relationship with your partner. How can we give back to each other? How can we support each other? And so rituals, this I can talk about rituals for days and years because the blessings are infinite. And so we are going to now do a little prayer to invoke the blessing for this 36-day challenge, because there are many obstacles. Also, like, suddenly, like there's a big wind going on right now. The internet could suddenly disappear. Obstacle. One of us could get sick. An obstacle we couldn't make and show up. Suddenly we are there's a big traffic and I get trapped in the traffic, another obstacle. So there are countless obstacles for us to succeed in our desire to complete this 36-day challenge. And so because we recognize that these challenges are there, these unseen obstacles, in the Vedic tradition we always chant to Ganesha, who is this cute little elephant. But if you don't relate to like an elephant or these figures and it's weird to you, just think of you're invoking the principle of that which removes obstacle. Whatever that is for you, like maybe a higher power, a force, a fire, because fire also it burns, right? But that which removes obstacle. And in the Vedic tradition we have Ganesha. Ganesha means Gana Isha. Isha means the one that protects Gana, all the beings. And so, like Ganesha, what is the quality of this elephant? Elephants are very big and heavy and strong. And wherever they go, they just remove all the obstacles on their way. Like, I was riding elephants in Bali, and the elephant would just like eat all the food that is there and just clear the path. And so we're gonna say a prayer to Ganesha to clear the path so that we can do these 36 days to ritualize our life. And we're also going to say a prayer to Saraswati. She's the goddess of knowledge, the goddess of words, to convey so that I can share with you what has blessed me. Like in this way, I'm also honoring my tradition, my teachers, my lineage, the people that have blessed me, so that I'm able to be sharing this with you. Like I wouldn't be here with the grace of the goddess of knowledge. I wouldn't be here without the grace of my teachers, and the teachings and the spiritual heritage of India, which is the spiritual heritage that is still alive, intact, and still lived and practiced in India, which is incredible, like in Bali as well. There are not many places like this anymore, so we really get to preserve them and honor them and acknowledge, because there's no society that is so giving like the Vedic society, in my experience. So we say this prayer to them, like, and in any way, if it's weird to you, these figures, you can also ask me questions, I can answer them. Like, remember, this is a form that we give to be able to relate to the formless. We give form so that we can relate to the formless, and we consciously, deliberately superimpose meaning on an object. And it's a conscious, deliberate superimposition which has a purpose so that we can relate to a higher principle. In reality, we are superimposing constantly meaning on things, but we're doing that unconsciously. We're all living in a projection, in a world of projections, but most of us will live in this world of projection in an unconscious way. And so so we can learn to do that in a conscious way, and then it becomes a means for growth. And so here we are superimposing, I'm superimposing the goddess of knowledge, Saraswati, and we're also helping to invoke her and Ganesha with a Sanskrit mantra, which many mantras we're going to learn every day now. So the mantra, tra is trayate, that which protects, man, the mind. So that which protects the mind is a mantra. It's a tool that protects the mind. So the mantra will help me to invoke blessing. It protects me, it protects my surrounding. And it also, when we have a certain intention, which our intention is to complete this 36-day challenge and to convert from a competitor into a contributor. One that has a sense of deep belonging on this earth, one that sees the infinite blessings that are given here and now at all times, at all places, one that is free from the sense of poverty and abides in profound gratitude. That's the qualities of the contributor. And the most beautiful attitude is gratitude. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. So much is given to us. So much. And then from the place of gratitude, yes, we can desire. Yes, we can ask for more. But it's so different when we ask for things from a place of gratitude, from a place of fullness. What do you mean with repeat, por favor? Which part? Our intention from converting or changing from being a competitor, one that competes, like one that has a sense of I lack, I'm not enough, I'm different from you, you have something that I don't have and I have to compete against you. And through the ritual we turn into a contributor, where you are my friend, you are my sister, my brother, my father, my mother. We are family, we are one family. That's attitude del contribuidor. Yeah, I can share them. Like, so we're family, we're here together on this earth. You are my kula, my family. No matter the race, no matter your gender, no matter your age, we are one humanity. We're one being, really. There's absolutely no difference in any way between you and I in reality. Everything I do to you, I do to myself. Everything you do to your mom, you do it to yourself. Everything we do it to ourselves. Because there is only one self. And so the contributor is one that has a deep sense of belonging. One that feels I belong on this earth. And what is one of the diseases that so many of us experience is that we don't belong on this earth. We feel alienated and isolated and lonely. in our own country. And all we long for is to belong. And so it's our duty to take our place on this earth. You exist, you are here, this is your home, wherever you are really. Like your body is your home, you are your home, no matter where you are. That's the spiritual journey really, right? To discover you're never not at home. So the contributor has this deep sense of belonging, has a deep sense of abundance. Like it doesn't have the sense of I lack, has a sense of fullness, a deep sense of abundance, that there's infinite wealth available to me, given, and I cannot but give back. I cannot but give back. So yeah. And then we desire out of gratitude. Right? So the attitude of the contributor is a profound, deep, sincere gratitude. Like a deep, sincere gratitude. And then from this sense of fullness, it's naturally, we all desire. To desire is natural, it's human, it's beautiful, it's a privilege. But then I get to desire out of fullness instead of for the purpose of fullness. I desire because I can. My desires are loka sangarhartam. It means the desire are good for all beings, not only for me. They're not going to be just my selfish desires for my own well-being. Which is nothing wrong either. We all have it, so we don't need to judge ourselves for it. But my desires that are only for my own well-being, they don't give me a lot of happiness, a lot of sukha. Like the desires that are a desire for the well-being that benefits the well-being of all beings, the happiness that I enjoy is much longer. Those we call dharmic desires. And so the dharmic desires have a very long, give a lot of shanti, a lot of peace. And so that's why we say in the Vedic tradition, may all dharmis, may all beings that are contributors, that have a sense of belonging and wholeness and oneness with the world, may they be rich, may they be wealthy. Because the dharmis, the people that are contributors and have a sense of belonging and have a sense of oneness, or even know that they're one with the whole world, and when they are wealthy, when they are rich, they will share the wealth. Right? And so once you are a dharmi, you need not be afraid of wealth or money. Like it can come to you and you know you're grateful for the money that comes and you will share it with the world for the good of all beings. You cannot but. So I wish for all of us, like also through this challenge, this 36-day Ritualize Your Life, that we all become wealthy. Because then we will share it with each other. We will create good for me, for you, for all of us. So money is not corrupt by nature. Right? Corruption is given, people are given to corruption. No being is by nature corrupt. There is corruption because of misplaced values. Once we understand the value of universal values, we are incorruptible. There's even a beautiful mantra, Yaschandasa Bho Vishwarupaha Chando'ham Amrta Babhuva Samendro Medhaya Aspranotu Amrtasya Veda Amrtasya Devanarano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Rihwa Me Madhumattama. And it goes on and it says, like, let me be rich and wealthy when I'm incorruptible, uncorruptible. So let's do our invocation, our blessing, praying to Ganesha to remove our obstacles that may be there to complete our sadhana, our spiritual practice of 36 days, ritualizing our life. And we say a prayer to Saraswati so that we are invoking the blessing of the rishis and the rishikas, the great seers, the sampradaya, the teaching tradition, and all those that have walked this path before us and have spiritualized their life and have become a contributor and are our heroes and our heroines. Right? And as I admire my hero and my heroine, so I become. Yat bhavam tat bhavati. As I admire, so I become. I admire contribution, I admire the attitude of gratitude, I become a contributor. And my life is meaningful, purposeful. We've given justice to this human incarnation. So, you can repeat after me. First, visualize a big snuggly elephant if you want. Everything is an invitation. And see how the elephant walks in front of you and neutralizes, removes the obstacles so that you can do this 36-day challenge. If you miss one day and cannot be live, the recording is available for you. But if you can, show up and come. Do it with me. We're turning each other on. We're inspiring each other, right, to stay here together on this trajectory. And to see how he removes the obstacles and gives us this strength to stay with our sadhana, with our sankalpa, with this intention to ritualize our life. And then you can repeat after me. Om Gam, Om Gam, Ganapataye Namaha, Ganapataye Namaha. And so in the Gana, you roll the tongue back and the bottom of the tongue touches the dome of the palate because it's a cerebral nakara. It's Gana. Ganapataye Namaha, Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You heard it. Ha! There has to be a aspirate. The hara, the solar plexus gets activated. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 3 times. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. One more time. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Take a deep breath and just notice the immediate result, the immediate effect of chanting, of your prayer. If you're not praying in Sanskrit, that is totally fine. You can just say in your own language. Please remove all the obstacles so that I can complete this 36-day Ritualize Your Life, Ritualize My Life challenge, so that I can turn from a competitor, one that has a sense that I don't belong and I lack, into a contributor, one that has a deep sense of belonging, a deep sense of gratitude, even a sense of oneness. May all the obstacles be removed. May there be a heart connection between you and I. And may the river of knowledge, the ocean of knowledge, Vidya Sagara, be here with us. So the water of knowledge, this waterfall, it can bless my heart and your heart and all our hearts. And so you can repeat after me the Saraswati mantra. Aim Hrim Om. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. Saraswatyai Namaha. Aim Hrim Om. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. Saraswatyai Namaha. And so now we have the whole mantra. You can listen, always listen, and listen as if you hear it for the very first time. And we never take the mantra for granted. Every time we listen fresh. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. 2 more times. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. Aim Hrim Om. Saraswatyai Namaha. Again, resolve into the silent presence of your being. And enjoy the immediate effect of chanting. And chanting brings so many unseen adrsta phala, unseen spiritual wealth. So we're accumulating spiritual wealth right now. Like, what is spiritual wealth? Spiritual wealth is situations that are conducive for your spiritual growth, that are going to fructify tomorrow, day after, sooner than later. So with this, with the blessing of all beings, the first step of the 36 steps, I'm not really like a step person, like all these 4 or 5 steps to doing this, but there's a beauty to it as well. And some of the steps you may relate more to it, especially if you are a woman and have a period, because I included that. And those that are here with me that are men and do not bleed, then you can neutralize, take another step for that step. But you'll see in some of the steps you really feel like, okay, these I'm going to implement, and others maybe you feel, oh, that's a little bit much. But let's see. I'm really curious to hear from you also how all of this lands. I'm doing this live now for the first time for 36 days. I have done this course, these 36 steps to ritualizing your life, a few years ago, and it was very well received. So the first step of ritualizing our life is like ritualizing our day. Very important to ritualize our life or spiritualize our life. We ritualize one day. My teacher would say, how I live one day is how I live 100 years. So one day, when does the day begin? The day begins when we wake up, right, in bed. And so that's the step number 1, the beginning of the day. And so I invite you to take a moment and just like, imagine you're like in your bed, in deep sleep, and then slowly you're waking up. And isn't there a moment when you wake up and there's no identification with anything yet? You wake up and you are, and sometimes, I wonder, I'd love to hear from you, like there's no identification, means like there's no I in that moment, an I notion, a created I. You just wake up, you are, and sometimes you don't even know where you are. Sometimes you don't even know who you are. You're like, oh, I find myself in this room. Or if you're sleeping under a tree, maybe you're like camping outside somewhere, and you wake up in the morning and like, oh, like, and then, but this is usually it's a very short moment. It's like this moment of waking up. There's no particular identification with anything, and then boof, it's like a split second, and then, okay, yeah, I am Helen, I am Kate, I am woman, I am mother. Oh, I need to go and do the laundry. Oh, I need to get my coffee. Where is my coffee? Like some people cannot wake up without coffee barely. They need to have the coffee to wake up. It's a little bit tricky. So what are you saying? So Kate is saying, yes, I love the moment. I often listen to a nidra before I get up. Beautiful. And Helen says, yes, and it feels peaceful, this not knowing, just being. Exactly. Thank you for sharing. And so that's when the first step begins of ritualizing our life. It's that moment of just being, recognizing I am, I exist. Recognize I am, I exist. And in that moment, you can repeat after me, and I have even a slide here prepared. Ānando'ham. You can say, Ānando'ham. And you see there's a diacritical mark on top. On the A, it means it's a dirgha A, it's a long A. So we open the jaw, and you really open the jaw. Like in Sanskrit is a phonetical language, so every letter is connected to different nadis, different energetic points in the body. So can you feel when you say like it opens your heart, it opens the belly, it opens your genitals. Ānando'ham. ānando'ham. And so the ānando on the nakara, so we have ānan, and then there's a second na, and on the second na you put the tongue on the teeth and you stay there a little bit longer. So it's like this: ānando'ham. So ānan on the n, on the second n, a little bit longer. It's called the dvitvam. I teach all of that in Sanskrit and my other classes. If you want to join the Devi temple, Devi temple, I teach why and all of these things. So ānando, and then o is always a long vowel. It doesn't have a line on top, but it's always long. So ānando'ham. And then the ha is very important, that you make an aspirate, ha. So you feel it in your belly, ha, ha. You see my chest also, ha, ha. Like, and I exaggerate now, and you can also exaggerate so that you get it. And then with the time, you don't need to do it so forcefully. Right now, we are really paying attention. This is the way I was taught by my dear, most revered teacher, Swami Vagishananda, in the oral tradition of Sanskrit and Vedic chanting. So we really pay attention to the proper articulation, and it's like a yoga asana, not asana. Many people say asana. No. It's asana, like for the mouth, for the jaw. And so many people say ananda, but that is wrong. Ananda means no joy. So it's quite important how we pronounce the Sanskrit words. So this is Ānando'ham. It's made out of two words, ānando'ham, and ānando'ham plus aham becomes Ānando'ham. Ānando'ham. So let's say this 11 times. Ānando'ham. 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 One more time. Ānando'ham. And you can say it 3 more times silently in your mind. Okay. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. So this is the first mantra we're learning for step number 1, being. The moment we wake up, the moment before we identify with anything, you say, if you want, Ānando'ham. And if you do not feel comfortable to say this in Sanskrit, you can say it in English, or you translate it into your mother tongue. And it means, I am limitless fullness that sustains all. So Ānando'ham means fullness, means limitlessness. Ānando'ham means fullness, means limitlessness. Ānanda. And aham means I am. Aham. So fullness, I am. Like if we would just translate word meaning, fullness, I am. I love seeing all your like emojis and crowns and hearts. And the Ananda of Satchidananda. Yeah, so Satchidananda, like is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Those are the 3 synonyms for aham. And so here, now, for this one, we're using Ānando'ham. And so Anand, it's going to take too long for me to unfold now Sat, Chit, and Ananda. But there are synonyms, Sat as existence, Chit as consciousness, and Ananda as fullness. And so Ānando'ham, fullness, I am. You can say simply fullness, I am. But you can also say I am limitless fullness that sustains all. And so if you're like German speaking, you can say Ich bin das Vollkommene. Ich bin das Sein. In Spanish, yo soy. How do you say that in Spanish? We have Spanish-speaking people here. Fullness, completeness is. Right now, it's not coming. My mind is like not giving anything. Usually, it comes in Spanish. Ilimitado, un ser ilimitado. Gracias. So, soy un ser ilimitado, o soy sin limitaciones. So you see how it really feels more intimate to you. And naturally, like now, you hear this, and then like, oh, I'm limitless fullness. At the beginning, when I was introduced to all of this, like it wasn't like embodied naturally. It was like, wow, I am limitless fullness. What does that mean? It felt like such abstract concepts, and that felt so far away. Like, how could I ever be limitless? And so if you feel like that, that's completely in order, and just be gentle with yourself. And like, we remember that we're doing this as a practice to start like seeing the truth of our existence and bringing the vision of limitlessness, the vision of fullness into our day-to-day life. But that doesn't mean that the ritual in itself will be enough to discover the reality of my existence that is limitless. Like, so the ritual is there, as I mentioned at the beginning, to prepare ourselves, to help us become an adhikari, a fit student, to understand the vision of oneness, to discover that I am whole and complete, and that myself is the self of the whole universe. Like, so the ritual in itself is not enough. I still get to undertake the most beautiful studies that exist, which is the study of the limitless self. So they are hand in hand. But to ritualize our life helps us to prepare, become an adhikari, a fit student, to discover the truth of our existence, of your existence, my existence, the truth of God, the truth of the goddess, the truth of this world. And so the spiritual heritage has all these tools and teachings given to us, and it's a whole way of living. It's not just one way of practice, one moment. No, it's a whole attitude, a way of living. That's why it's Purna Vidya. Vidya means knowledge. Purna means fullness. It addresses every single aspect of your existence. That's why it's complete. It's so marvelous. How many times should you repeat the mantra upon waking? Yeah, thank you for this question. So minimum 3 times. So all the mantras that I'm sharing with you, if you can, as we are learning now and practice them, chant them every day 3 times minimum, if you can. Usually when we get initiated into a mantra, like we're like in a very special era, usually when we initiate a mantra, actually in old times, we were supposed to chant the mantra 100,000 times for each syllable. Imagine. For each syllable, 100,000 times. Ānando'ham. That would be 400,000 times. We would have to chant Ānando'ham to gain nishtha, to gain establishment. Nishtha, ni means clear, shtha, stand, clear establishment in this mantra. Like, to become a master in anything, it requires repetition. So most of us, we will not have time to chant this 400,000 times, right now. Very busy lives. So if you can, chant this mantra now, Ānando'ham, or say this mantra, Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham. Say it until we meet. We meet again in 24 hours. Say this, if you can, 108 times. I challenge you to say it 108 times. If you have a mala, like the malas usually have 108 beads, put the mala on your middle finger, and then you pull one bead down towards your heart, and you say Ānando'ham, 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 and like pay attention to the proper articulation. I'm going to post after each live. I will post these slides that I'm sharing with you with the mantra. So then you just have the mantra. Then you can practice with it. So Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham. And if you can, pay attention to the proper pronunciation the way I taught you. Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham. Like, and exaggerate, so then it really goes into your system. And so if you can, do it 108 times. Like, and I want to know from you, please, like, then comment, and I will post this this live and the post, and then just comment how's it going, and if you have resistance coming up, which is very natural also, or it's like, yeah, 108, no problems, I can do 1080, right? You see your enthusiasm. And so that would be amazing. So Ānando'ham is the first one. The moment we wake up, Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham, right? So you're creating a new samskara, a new pattern, samskara, a new action to neutralize the old pattern, the old habit of like waking up and like, I have to wake up, I don't want to wake up, you know, the pattern of snoozing. Snooze, 10 minutes. Oh no, I don't want to wake up. Snooze. No, I don't want to wake up. Do I really have to wake up? I really have to wake up. I don't want to wake up. Right? It's a pattern for many. We wake up and like, I need coffee. I cannot be without my coffee. Where's my coffee? Or you wake up and you're like, oh no, I have to go to work again. I hate my life. No. We're changing that pattern. You wake up. I am limitless fullness that sustains all. I am limitless fullness that sustains all. Yo soy un ser ilimitado. Ich bin das Vollkommene. Wow, what a difference. Ānando'ham. Right? This is how, step number 1, how to ritualize our entire life. So, and the gesture, if you want to also like do a gesture, a mudra. So you can, like, as you still lie, you can have your hands flat open, and just like the openness of your hands. This mudra is called the abhaya hasta, the hand of fearlessness. You can, like when you are in shavasana, in the last pose of a yoga practice, you lie, you have your hands flat open, and you say, I am limitless fullness. And I'm limitless fullness. I'm limitless being. Fullness I am. You know, so fullness I am. Or if you want, you can do Jnãna Mudra. So Jnãna Mudra means, Jnana means knowledge, Mudra, the gesture of knowledge. So this is the gesture of knowledge. Really, ultimately, the gesture of knowledge is not this gesture. The ultimate gesture of knowledge is you being a contributor. Like, that's the ultimate gesture. How I am showing up in life. How I am contributing to this life. That's my gesture. And a gesture comes from the proper attitude. I know I am limitless fullness, and I cannot but give back. So that's the gesture of knowledge, like the gesture of truth, what is actually real. We all live from a place of untruth, and so we want to come back to the truth. And so the Jnãna Mudra is the gesture of knowledge, means that you know what your essential nature is. You know that you're limitless fullness. You know that you're not a limited being in time and space that is going to die. Right? But that's what we all believe, that we are a limited being separated from the whole world. You're different than me. I'm different than you. I am going to die. That's the belief we all have about the nature of the self. No, 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 no. I am limitless fullness. Like, in other words, this means I am free from death. I am deathlessness. That is my nature. That is abhayam. That is jnanam. That is knowledge. Abhayam, fearlessness. Jnanam, knowledge. And so here you see, it's a beautiful gesture because this symbol is like a circle. And the circle represents fullness, represents wholeness. Yeah? And usually it's this finger, we call it the ahankara, the ego. But not that the ego is bad in any way. We just want to develop a healthy ego from the low esteem, low self-esteem, the unhealthy ego, And how does the ego have an unhealthy self-image? Because this fellow identifies with the body that is too old, too grey, too wrinkly, too woman, too man, too lethargic, too tired, right? Because this fellow identifies with the limitation of the body. This fellow identifies with the limitation of the mind. I am stupid, I'm intelligent, I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm so upset. That's why we have a low self-ego, self-esteem, and unhealthy ego. Or it identifies with the senses, like represents the senses, the stimulus, like what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, and then identify with the surrounding. So naturally we have a low self-esteem and unhealthy ego if I identify with things that are not I. If I identify with things that are limited, naturally I will not feel good about myself. So that's why I wake up and it's like, oh, again, right? But no, the truth is, you are Brahman. This fellow, this thumb represents Brahma, that which is limitless, and so this one bows, right? That's what we do in yoga. In yoga, we bow again and again and again and again and again in child position, right? Because we have to get out of offense, defense posture. We have to get out of ninja posture. We have to get out of blaming the world for my misery. No one is responsible for your happiness, your self-image. Only you. And so what it means is we get to die. Like we get to die to the wrong notion that I am a limited being. Woman, man, old, young, rich, poor, full of pleasure, without pleasure. No, I surrender, right? That's why I invited to establish an altar. Like I have my altar here, and then practice bowing. Like put your head down, get out of this ninja posture, and come back to the baby in mother's arm. Like you surrender, and surrender is an active prayer, right? Because we want to resist, right? We resist life, people. We resist the facts we cannot change. But as long as you resist, you will suffer. You want to keep suffering? Keep resisting. Do not bow. You want to get out of suffering? Bow. Get your head down. Right? And offer non-resistance to your resistance. You're only resisting the pain. But pain is only pain. It has nothing to do with who you are or what you are. It cannot hurt you. It cannot kill you if you welcome it. Right? Pain has to be welcomed. And we're going to see that in the upcoming steps. How to welcome the pain, be with the pain. Pain is only because of a wrong notion about the nature of the self. Right? Because this fellow has identified with body, mind, sense. But once we discover what we are, right? Fullness, wholeness, Ānando'ham, I am limitless fullness, I am complete. And so that's the gesture. So you wake up, Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham, Ānando'ham. And you can also have the mudras, you can have the mudras like just very naturally. Don't have to like in any way put force. You can just lie, have the Jnãna Mudra like this on the side or the hands flat open. Ānando'ham, I am limitless fullness. I am limitless fullness. Yeah? So, this went much longer than I thought it would, which is totally fine. I love being here with you. So, step 1 being the moment you wake up, acknowledge the silent presence of your own being before having identified with your body, your role, or anything else. Ānando'ham. Om Tat Tat. So thank you very much. We did it. Yoo-hoo! Step 1. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of us. Step 1 of 36 days. My plan is not to be an hour alive every day. I mean, yes, my plan is to be alive more than an hour every day. But I meant I thought this will be like 20 minutes every day. Let's see. If you like it, I like to be here with you an hour every day. I love being here and sharing with you this knowledge that has blessed my heart and my life in every possible way. And may bless yours. Salome, thank you so much. Lovely. Thank you, sweet. Andri, Shai, Kate, Ulrika. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And please share this life with your family, friends, in the community. Invite others if you feel it could benefit their life to ritualize their life as well. Alexandra, Sharada, thank you very much. I'm so happy to see you. Me too. It's so nice to be here connected again. Sarah, danke schön. Katharina, let's go. Let's do this. Yes, let's do it. Let's cheer each other on. Yeah. Okay, have a wonderful evening. See you tomorrow. If we wake up at 8 p.m. Central European Summertime and practice Ānando'ham, ānando'ham, ānando'ham. Om Tat Sat.